Hey dumplings, it's Dave Decide. Today we have an important topic to talk about, which is Akgaes and Jungkook kind of addressing what happened. I also want to get into what V yelled out during the PTT concert and what he said to a fanboy. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumpling, a tea-spilling mug merch, and let's get into it. The first thing we need to talk about is the last day of the PTT concert. The last day is April 16th, and I hope everyone who went had a great time and stayed safe. Hopefully no COVID outbreaks, and hopefully no one got anything stolen from them or anything like that just being in Vegas. The boys seemed very happy and really excited to perform in Vegas, and I hope they do something like this again. This time around, BTS being in America, it feels different, very different. When BTS debuted in America, there was a unique crowd that was following BTS that wasn't mainstream. This is not a bad thing, it's just a very niche specific audience. They were typically people who followed K-pop and maybe don't really listen to American mainstream music. But now BTS has kind of crossed over well past K-pop, where the audience is and can be unfamiliar with the majority of K-pop and just typically listens to mainstream music. The audience before was mostly teenage girls, and as the fandom has grown, this is no longer true anymore. We have armies from literally 40 to 70 years old who have made themselves known by introducing themselves to me on Patreon, which is so cool. And of course, we also have teenagers who like the group. But for a while, no matter the age, it has been mostly girls and women. We have ridiculously handsome men dancing on stage. Of course, there's going to be a ton of girls that love that. But this is something that BTS is aware of too, and their audience is mostly girls. During the concert, there was a moment where the music stopped and the members had a moment to talk to the audience. Taehyung had noticed that during his rounds walking around on stage and noticing ARMY, he saw that there were more men that were in the audience this time around. Taehyung spoke out initially asking girls to make some noise, only to stop himself to say that he noticed more men and asked the gentlemen to also make some noise. While there was a clear noise difference between the men cheering and the women cheering, it wasn't too far off. If you were going by noise, it sounded like maybe 25% of the audience was male, maybe 30%. So this is definitely amazing, and it seems like the boys are so happy to know this. They even showcased some male armies on the big screen at the concert, which I won't show because I don't want to put their faces without their permission. But the fact that it wasn't hard to find one and that the fandom is growing quite rapidly. I know the BTS boys get happy when they see more male armies come to their shows. This shows that they have hit mainstream. When it's no longer a specific niche of an audience and it's no longer predominantly one gender or one age bracket, you have reached mainstream success. Your product, your music, your face is now accepted by everyone. There isn't a demographic that doesn't acknowledge your existence, or there is at least one person from every demographic that is going to like your stuff. So haters can no longer say BTS is only for girls or only for teenagers or whatever, just like no one can say Lady Gaga is just for teenagers. Jungkook was even excited during one of the early concerts in Vegas. Jungkook was on stage flashing his baby oiled up abs when he was doing his tour around the stadium in the orange cart. A male army flashed himself by picking up his shirt, and Jungkook did it back. People took this as Jungkook flirting, and it was a cute moment. Just a side note, please don't take this as an action to simply flash the boys at every opportunity, hoping Jungkook would flash back every time or whatever. Do not do this, and don't send him shirtless pictures. Jungkook has shown to be having a lot of fun, and I am so happy and excited to hear that he is enjoying himself. Jungkook, as well as all the other members, but mostly the younger members, tend to get a lot of hate. I don't know why, but I think in K-pop the younger ones get more hate because they tend to be the most popular ones. But hate that is kind of uncontrollable and expected is to get hate as a celebrity and people saying generic things like you're too fat or you're too ugly or whatever it is. These comments don't even hurt anyone because these are just opinions, but one hate comment the member gets a lot of is Akgae. Akgaes are frustrating because they are technically fans, but they are also not. This is a Korean term that is defined as someone who likes just one member of BTS, and that's okay if you do, but these Akgaes will attack the other members. So liking Jungkook, they will attack Taehyung or Jimin for even talking to Jungkook, or protest that Jungkook needs to go solo and leave the other members. These actions are the most frustrating when it's at fan meets and the Akgae is clearly there for one member. So they'll talk to just that one member and treat everyone else really rudely. This is wildly believed why Taehyung said the whole BTS is 7 thing, so that when people go to fan meets, people will stop being rude to other members. I think when BTS started their career, there were a lot more of these type of solo supporters, but now less. There's been recent rumors that have just gotten much stronger, and it's about Jungkook, Jimin and Jungkook. People think that the two are dating or whatever, and they believe that due to the cute interactions they have publicly had with each other, we recently have seen some behind the scenes or paparazzi footage of Jungkook carrying Jimin, and then there's rumors of the two hanging out together in Vegas. This all sparked that the rumors are quote-unquote true, that they're dating. So what happens here is that there's some people who don't want these rumors to be true, or that there even are rumors, so they get upset that people are talking about this, or that Jungkook is perpetuating this by being around Jimin. This I understand, but the boys will live their life and we shouldn't stop them from doing that. But then there's other people who are solo stans, who are AKGAEs, who support Jimin and don't like the other members. These people will get upset when the other members interact with their favorite member, and they would prefer if no one did and that their favorite member goes solo. I don't know if this is entirely the case for this particular person who left this comment that I'm going to mention, but they were being called an AKGAE online. Jungkook was doing a Q&A show on Instagram, so you can do a live and do a live show answering questions on IG, or you can do a Q&A where you ask people to ask you questions and then you do a story or a show where you verbally answer the question. So it's kind of like a live show, but not really. Jungkook did this during a moment he had off before the concert, so this was his break. And one of the questions that was asked told Jungkook to back off Jimin because they were jealous of how much Jungkook is giving Jimin attention and that they want to be that person that gives love to Jimin, I guess. And Jungkook responded saying savagely to continue to be jealous and he is going to hold Jimin more. Jungkook has kind of been open and responsive to responding to some of the hate he's gotten, but do you think Jungkook should have responded here? And do you think it was an AKGAE that was attacking Jungkook, or maybe it was a harmless comment? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. One reply Jungkook gave that destroyed the internet was that someone told him to eat dog poop. I mean, initially I was like, oh, funny joke, I guess, but then it hit me that there's no way that this is a joke or a joke that's funny. And I realized that the intent of this person who asked Jungkook to eat dog poo was likely a hater. But while it's good to answer these questions and give a response, I would encourage Jungkook to not read too many of these. It's not good for your mental health and it concerns me. And most people who become people who are in the public or have jobs where they have to interact with an audience are typically people who want people to like them. They're typically people pleasers. And there's psychology studies that go into this. So typically reading those comments are never good for your psychology. So for the health of Jungkook, please don't read too many of those. But people think that this was an interesting way for Jungkook to address the AKGAEs and the solo supporters attacking Jungkook. Basically him saying he will not back off and he will continue to hug and love Jimin how he always has. How are you going to tell Jungkook he cannot show affection to one of his closest friends? Interestingly enough, people will always find a reason to not like something you do or say something even when it's harmless. The thing that bothers me often about K-pop is that a lot of the scandals, or quote-unquote scandals, are not anything illegal, but just things that the fan culture makes into a big deal. Since when is it a bad thing to date? Literally, Disney shows and kids shows show crushes and people dating, like children's storybooks revolve around finding a partner and getting married. Meaning this is not a taboo thing. This is something that is literally ingrained in human culture and something that was taught from a young age that we need to look for someone. But okay, in K-pop, the idols have to apologize for doing something their parents want them to do, which is get married and have kids. And then of course, in this situation, it's seen as bad to show affection to another member because some of these people want to own Jimin and say that Jimin is theirs and no one else can interact with him. Imagine if Jimin actually knew who these people were and they were friends. Would these people just simply lock Jimin in the basement and not let him do anything or interact with anyone? Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.